Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our podcast. And the topic of today's podcast is LinkedIn. And my name is Tatsiana Yarash, and I'm the founder of the digital agency SM2. And I would like to present you our nice guest, and her name is Kate Vuillier. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
It's so nice that you came to our podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Kate is really great specialist in B2B marketing, and she deals with great digital campaigns in LinkedIn with great results.
We deliver.
we deliver good projects.
We deliver. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for coming. So.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So let's start from the first question.
Let's go.
It will be about LinkedIn.
Wow! Surprise! Surprise!
Surprising.
Surprise! Surprise!
Okay. Let's imagine that I don't know anything about LinkedIn. So why imagine? Yes, it is. No. Okay. So let's imagine that I don't know anything about LinkedIn, and I would like to start promoting myself or my business on LinkedIn in 2026. So what first steps should be to start this nice journey on LinkedIn?
Well, Tanya, first of all, I think it's so good that you said that you would like to promote yourself and your business. In 2026, it's so important to put yourself first.
Okay.
In 2026, LinkedIn algorithm will favor people over businesses and company pages. So you set for a good start, I'd say. In general, LinkedIn has lots of these myths around it, and lots of experts try to debunk them. That's what we're going to do here today as well. LinkedIn sets aside from other social networks, from other social media, because originally it was planned to be a networking community for professionals, for B2B businesses. Now, emphasis has shifted towards people. So even companies invest in promoting their own employees, invest in making them top voices because they're ambassadors of their brand at the moment. So if you are to start, invest in yourself. Invest in knowing actually what your goal is. I know it might sound now like invest in knowing what your goal is, but I assume you will share my view. People come without clarity. They have no idea who they are, what value they bring. So first of all, find out what your value is, and then package it. Package it according to views, your own visions, and LinkedIn algorithm. So it should be a very nicely balanced strategy. On the one hand, you promote yourself, you're being super authentic, being yourself. On the other hand, you always make sure that you play by their rules.
Okay.
I believe we will talk a bit later as well. I will give you a few tips for LinkedIn
by
posts.
the way, talking about strategy on LinkedIn, let's imagine that I have my goals for 1 year.
Yeah.
Yes. And we all know that we should start from this brand awareness, and
Yes.
actually it concerns also like a personal brand.
Yes.
So what will be like the best strategy of combining these content pillars actually during this year? So should it be like, I don't know, first we are making the post for brand awareness. Tomorrow we are making the post on like promoting interest, yes. Then we're making something about sales actually.
Yes.
So we know that our goals actually monetized. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So is it better to do like this, just like to make this strategy inside 1 month and different types of posts, or should we take this strategy and divide into some phases, I would say? So for example, first 3 months we are doing this. Next 3 months we are doing this, this and this. So what is the most effective strategy for 2026?
In 2026, the most effective strategy would be to focus on content and what content actually has in it, what it bears inside. LinkedIn will not be favored any longer AI written short posts that bear no value, that have actually no sense sometimes, just shooting there for getting likes. LinkedIn's algorithm is going actually to carefully go through each of your posts and evaluate it in terms of the quality and in terms of consistency. Therefore, when creating a strategy, my advice would be to focus on content pillars instead of being so about, oh my God, this post should be about brand awareness and this post will brand me leads. When you just start, forget about leads. I do understand that in the end of the day, we all do that for leads, for revenue. That's true. That's our North Star, but we start with brand awareness. So let's say we pick 3 most effective topics, themes. We do a research first. We identify what our target audience is interested in. We have 3 topics, for instance, 3 content pillars. It's a very good thing, it's a very good actually step and strategy to start with a long cornerstone post, which is filled with your target words. It's a sort of LinkedIn SEO, right? Then you repurpose this content. So for instance, you move from a long post that it drives attention and drives brand awareness of your audience, and then you split it, for instance, into short takeaways of the post, takeaways on the subject. And you package those into a document post. Document posts will be the best ones for engagement of your audience in 2026, because people can click through go through page by page in your carousel post, document post, and they can learn more about you, learn more about your value proposition, bringing you more engagement. Yes?
Yes.
Then you record a video on the topic.
Yeah.
First you create a longer one, about 2 minutes, then you split those into short takeaways. So this way, you repurpose your first long cornerstone post. I'm always tempted to say article, but here we're talking about post, into different pieces. So what LinkedIn learns from your strategy? LinkedIn learns that you know what you're talking about. Your thoughts are your own. Your content is unique and original, and it pushes you up.
Does LinkedIn understand when it's with ChatGPT or without?
It does. In general, AI-generated posts usually have no personality. They are quite impersonal, right? Because,
text and videos also, yes, and images, like we're talking about all types of AI.
Images and I remember once I was discussing this with my colleagues, and I said that in 2026 everything is with AI, so you stand out when you don't use AI, right? So if I were to create a post, for instance, with an image, I would say not AI generated, so I would put this caption, no AI used.
Natural.
No AI used. Because at the moment, people have to put this caption saying used with the support of AI. It's no news, everyone does that. So be careful with AI, I would say. LinkedIn algorithms would see that. They would notice that, no, come on. Doesn't really. We don't want to push that. We don't want to push that. We want to be valuable. We still want to preserve that credibility, right? So that if the post is pushed, it means there is something in this post.
Actually, what is your personal attitude to AI nowadays? And
I love it. I love it.
Do you use it yourself?
I do. I have my AI journey started with the ChatGPT. As everyone's, I assume. Then I moved to Claude. It helped me a lot with the content creation. But now I'm in love with Perplexity. I love
for marketing people especially.
Yes, I love it. I was checking something today. What is that? What's that and that? And Perplexity first feeds me whatever information it finds, and then in the end it says, for experts like you, this is the best. So it learns. It with time it knows
Experts like me.
what expert I am, what my expertise is. So it's very cool. Yes, but you know, it's our reality. We cannot avoid it. AI is here to stay, and if you haven't used AI until now, congratulations, you're late, right?
Yeah.
AI will be there. Content creators will stay. The best content creators, let's say, will stay, and AI will make them unstoppable. Because AI will give them the right information, will show them the trends, and then they will be able to develop that into nice pieces of content.
Thank you so much. Okay, so if we are coming back to the strategy thing, for example, I'm starting my LinkedIn page as an expert on LinkedIn or like the business owner, and so should I start with paid campaigns from the very beginning, or should I first create some content to find my new maybe first followers? So in what time it's okay to start paid campaigns, and how should I understand that it's time to start actually?
Well, if you have a lot of budget to spare, you can start with day one. But in general, my advice is not to rush into paid campaigns.
Yeah, let's be cost effective.
Let's be cost effective here. Yes. No, first you build your community. So in my view, your goal for LinkedIn should be building community and your network. You know, when I say now, like leads is secondary, people will start throwing stones at me. No, we want leads, obviously. But
sure.
When the audience doesn't know you, when they don't know what your expertise is, I mean, no one will buy from you, right? So we follow the old, classic path. So we start with brand awareness, then we move to interest, desire, and action. Yes. So at this brand awareness, you make sure your audience knows who you are. You tell them about yourself. You tell them what you are good at.
Okay.
You show your personality. You build credibility. You start telling them a bit about your expertise, what you have done in the past. Yes. Since LinkedIn has originally been more B2B oriented platform, I thought leadership is still a very important part of it. Yeah, it plays a crucial role. So your audience should know that, you know, if I click follow, so this is like the moment of truth for me, right? When I click follow, when I click connect, it means that I understand that I'm going it's going to be useful for me. Yeah, I'm going to get some benefit. That was the word.
Okay.
That's crucial. So don't rush into paid ads. I would say that when you have built your community, when you have proved to them and to yourself that it works, you can slowly start your paid campaigns. Start with brand awareness, and then move down the funnel.
Okay, so actually, if to talk about numbers, so how many followers are considered to be like community, like 150,
Look,
300?
It totally depends, right?
Okay.
It depends on the industry. So there are industries which are quite niche.
Yeah.
So, for instance, if you are a physicist, trying to build a personal brand around your nuclear thesis, it's unlikely that your community will be huge. Good luck, probably it will be millions and millions. But if you get like 1,000, that's good. That's good. If we're talking about real estate agents, for instance, their community will depend on I think that their community will depend on the buying capacity of the people, yes, or of the audience. So whoever starts following, to me would indicate that they might be interested in buying. So 100 is good. I believe that 100 potential buyers is a good number.
It depends on the quality.
It depends on the quality, right? Definitely, when you start paid campaigns, LinkedIn will push your ads outside your audience, outside your community. So the more the better. But again, I wouldn't say that we should always, try to get followers. We should aim for the quality.
And results, actually.
Our goal is a quality and result.
Okay, so actually, like in general, how many times per week should I make posts, and what types of content should it be? Like some posts, videos, polls. So what are these?
The golden rule is still 3 to 4 times a week. As for the content, it should be a nice balance of all. Your audience will really love seeing your face, your nice smiley face in videos, but they will not really watch 5 minutes long video, right? We know that. So short videos, especially in the beginning, telling about your expertise, about your values, about your personality. It's very good to support those videos then with some nice shorts, yes, you call them these snippets of videos. As I said earlier, carousel posts. They're called carousel posts, but LinkedIn does them in the form of documents. So it's quite nice, actually. You create a document, a PDF, let's say a document, and then you upload it. So each click on each page is considered as an engagement. So that's where they bring the highest engagement. Yes, that's why they're considered like an engagement generation. Well, all the nice image posts, I think now with all that variety of other types of posts, I would say we shouldn't post a lot. Maybe out of 4 posts a week, you should have max 1.
Okay.
I personally like a lot newsletters. Let me tell you about that. So whenever you want to create an article, you cannot create, actually, I think it's not available on mobile app in all the countries. It highly depends on the region, but it should be available for everyone on desktop.
Okay.
So you create an article and you can convert that article into a newsletter. So essentially, it will appear on your feed as a post, but all your followers will be notified that Tanya Yarash has published a newsletter, and they will be prompted to follow.
Yeah, that's a very nice feature, actually, this newsletter, and I suppose it's quite underestimated.
I think so. If you take, for instance, a real estate agent, imagine if you package all listings in one nice newsletter, click send, and all your followers are notified immediately of what is available or what you have at the moment.
Sounds very cool, really, for real estate.
I think so. There's always a lot of testing, right? It might not work from the first time, but in general, it's good.
Okay.
So each article you post afterwards will be part of that newsletter. So you will see your feed as like first edition, second edition, third edition. It contributes to your brand as well.
Thank you for interesting answers. By the way, you were talking about real estate, and actually I would like to say that now we are in Dubai, and we are now making our podcast in this nice cafe. It's called Ketchup, and this Ketchup is situated on blue waters. And I would like you to see this wonderful view that we are seeing from this spot, actually, and it's very nice to take this interview, yes, in this wonderful location. And I would like to show you more of this location, and so maybe we'll change a bit our seats, yes, so that our visitors and followers could also see this wonderful piece of Dubai.
Sure, let's move.
Sure?
Yes.
Okay, Kate. So my next question is, so if starting with these brand awareness posts, what types of these posts you can recommend to our audience?
I would recommend a blended strategy. Yeah, so in general, whatever type of post you use, if done correctly, can serve your purpose. Image posts, let's say this is what LinkedIn started with. Yes, just imagine a few years ago when there was no video, there was no carousel post, there was no poll, there was no newsletter. There was just a simple text and an image post. So obviously back then image post was like, oh wow, it was wow. So at the moment we can say that they are becoming a bit undervalued because people see lots of other different opportunities. They want to test, video, that. People start testing, forgetting about the old cornerstone types of post. So I would say that a nice image post will work, combined with good content, obviously, right? You know better than me that you should have a nice image, professionally done. Here I would like to point out that when I mean professional image, I don't say it should be a nicely designed...
like a model, yes, like from catalog.
Exactly. Companies do a lot of that, they use a lot of graphics. No, it should be a very personal one. Authentic, yes. It should show who you are. So you can be sharing your personal experience, for example, right?
Yeah, sure.
You can be showing... I'm kind of against going too personal there, like sharing your family. I don't like when people use LinkedIn as Instagram. It's not Instagram. We should remain professional, but we can show that I am a human being, right?
Okay, yeah.
So my life is not just my personal brand. I have a family or whatever, just a nice blend. I always say, it should be a nice balance there. Videos, obviously. Even though videos bring lots of engagement eventually, but they work really well for videos. For brand awareness.
Okay.
Again, you should have this hook on the first few seconds. The attention span of a regular LinkedIn scroller is 3 seconds, maybe even 2 now. I think it's going down and down every year. So make sure that you catch attention. This is your impression, probably even click. I've learned recently about 2026 that LinkedIn will prioritize dwell time and the completion rate.
Okay.
So impressions per se will not matter that much, right? Completion, so the number of impressions. We know how it works. So you have, for instance, 1,000 impressions. So how many people actually watched your video till the end? You may have 1,000 impressions with a good network.
Yeah.
In general, if you have 10,000 followers, let's say 10,000 network, 1,000 impressions is nothing. But then you look at your completion rate and you have 1% completion rate. So it means like what? Your video hasn't been completed even once. Read analytics, yes. Read
Correct.
And understand what actually
Especially LinkedIn
works.
gives you quite a nice analytics.
Exactly. And dwell time as well. So if people just scroll through your video, no. Then when it comes to videos, bear in mind that people are lazy. So don't forget subtitles. I always say that people are lazy, they may like the picture, but they will absolutely not understand what's there inside, what is this nice message you packaged there. Don't forget subtitles. Carousel posts. In LinkedIn, carousel posts are made of PDF files, as I said. People sometimes, post 30, 50 pages long white papers on LinkedIn. I've seen that. So you can post it and it's a downloadable file. So you can download that. Again,
The purpose,
right? I mean, if it's a B2B business, let's say, if it's software as a service.
If it's a database of clients' numbers, it's okay.
Imagine posting a database. I would love to see the analytics for that. The number of downloads.
Yes.
But again, be mindful. Be mindful. Bear in mind that your audience might not have even time to read your 30 pages of your content. Even if it's nicely done content and let alone something spontaneous written by ChatGPT. polls. I personally like polls, though polls can be used during brand awareness, but they're so well suited, especially for later stages, let's say late brand awareness, this interest phase. You can use a poll to identify actual needs of your audience.
Okay.
Imagine you have been running your LinkedIn account for 6 months. You managed to get about, okay, let's say 10,000, okay, 1,000 connections, valid connections, yes? Let's assume that you in some way engaged with all of them through your posts, probably through a paid campaign, maybe through some of your content, through video. So they're quite warm. And you would like to understand how to move forward with them. You can you can run a poll. So poll is a sort of a research tool that helps you understand the needs of your audience.
Okay.
Might be quite nice, right? I would say this is a later awareness stage. Whenever you talk to your network, address them, like try to be vulnerable. I really like this vulnerability concept. Brené Brown, the author of Dare to Lead, made it so nicely. I watched her TED talk. Be vulnerable. Don't be afraid. You're testing. Your strategy should be a mix of strategy, actually a plan, step-by-step guide, plus some testing. Works. It doesn't, well, sorry, but we tried, right?
Okay,
a poll won't cost you a thing, just probably time. Yes, in a nutshell, I would say that in LinkedIn, we don't say that this is okay, this is not okay for brand awareness. There are some guidelines. We say that case studies work best at a later stage of the funnel, when we move closer to...
It's like about desire.
When we move closer to desire, yes. Though, if at the brand awareness, at your brand awareness stage, you post some nice snippets, you record actually your clients' testimonials, why not? People, it can resonate, you never know. It's all about testing in the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, my next question. Okay, we did all this content. Now, for example, I got a community of 700 followers or 1,000 followers. They're very nice. I really value them. And now I'd like to start my paid campaign. So, if we are talking about these regions like Dubai or some other regions where LinkedIn is quite expensive, so what is the sum? What sum should I prepare to run my paid campaigns on LinkedIn for 1 month, for example?
Look, it's a tricky one. Yeah, in general, no one will be able to tell you like this is a good amount, this is not. If we talk about Dubai, where we're sitting here, obviously it is an expensive region because it's quite saturated. There are so many companies, so many experts, so many real estate agents, for example, because the market is booming, real estate market is booming at the moment. In my view, 1,000 euros is okay to start with.
Okay.
Is okay to start with. You need to learn. So spare
it's
this...
like for testing, yes? So 1,000 euros.
Spare this 1,000 euros for testing.
Okay.
See what your CPM is eventually. My experience says that $20 CPM is okay. It's not low, but it's not super high.
And as for the lead, for example?
For the lead, if your audience is still super cold, it may reach like $100, $150. But again, you know, it really depends on the budget and on your paychecks in the end. In my view, $100 is a lot for a lead, but for some, you know, if they generate 10,000 revenue from there, maybe 100 is not a lot. But in LinkedIn is considered much more expensive than Facebook, Instagram, Google.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Because of the quality of the audience, And actually, I would like to add that if you start paid campaigns, Actually, you shouldn't be afraid if you see that you have CPM like of $40. Yes, because actually
Yeah.
it's just the start, and you should know that actually you have this time and you have like this money, and you can make it less with time. Yes, you're
Yes,
testing, and you will come to this
you
20.
optimize it.
Yes.
Optimize it. Let me tell you the story related to costs. LinkedIn provides quite unique to the social media market targets and options.
Okay.
So in LinkedIn you can target by industry, you can target by job functions / job title, you can target by seniority, and obviously by region.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, that's vanity inside us, we want to reach CEOs. CEOs, I heard so many people saying like, I'm just selling to CEOs. Fine. The audience made of CEOs, first of all, will be quite small. It will be very narrow. That will increase your CPM, right? CPM will get higher eventually. And LinkedIn believes that this is the expensive audience.
Okay.
So for you to target CEOs is going to be very expensive, but how efficient can it be? How many CEOs do you know who sit, through LinkedIn scrolling, trying to understand?
Quite a
That's
few.
that post. So yes, so
they hire people.
So there is
and these people
there is
do these paid campaigns.
exactly
Yes.
exactly. Mm-hmm. So there is a lot of thinking. So you have run a campaign. You targeted CEOs, you paid lots of money, you got some clicks, some CPMs, and you sit like, I've done well, I've targeted CEOs. But how many CEOs in the end of the day have seen your post? So it's it's an art.
Yes, sure.
There is a lot of analytics, lots of metrics. We can't live without looking at metrics.
Yes, and very often we can reach these CEOs not with paid campaigns but with nice content, because
Exactly.
CEOs, they want this new qualitative information. Yes, so actually you can reach the same results, but even without paying, with your brain actually.
So sometimes you can reach CEOs by reaching other people. For instance, you can target marketing managers in the companies, and we assume that they might be decision makers, depending on your products. That we say that either marketing or human resources or finance function can influence the decision maker.
Okay.
The decision making, right? So you may target them, and then they influence your CEO. It's an art. It really depends. It really depends on your expertise, on your testing, what results you get.
Yeah, and actually, if we start with this €1,000 per month, for example, for testing, then what is like, I wouldn't say like the minimal, but the normal budget that you should prepare for months just to be like, to run your paid ads and to promote your content just on a regular basis?
Okay, so let's say we are starting. Yes, so what are our initial goals? We want to have quality followers.
Sure.
And we want to raise brand awareness. Let's start with 2 campaigns. LinkedIn has actually both campaign types, so LinkedIn is really very nicely done. So imagine for you to get 1,000 followers, 1,000 followers a month. Is it a lot or it's a lot?
It depends on the industry actually.
Okay, let's say we want to get 1,000. Even if you spend €1 per follower, you need €1,000 for your followers.
Yeah.
This is €1 unlikely.
Actually, what is the general price for one follower on LinkedIn nowadays?
It depends on the region. If you take, let's say, Western Europe, which is very competitive, a cost per follower may be up to 50. €20, €50. If you don't have strategy and you're doing it wrong, you may combine expensive regions with cheap regions. I was trying, to think what is a better word of more cost-effective regions, right? You combine them. Here you have a €20 per follower. Here you have 5. So what is the average?
7.5. Oh no.
That's nice. Okay, let's say your average cost per follower
it's like
is
12.5.
It's 12.5. this is a good number, right? This is a very good number. Are you happy about it? We're happy about it. We got for our followers. Now let's do qualitative analysis. How good are those followers?
Yes, actually it can be one follower for 40 euros, and then like
and the rest,
140.
the rest will just be creating this pool of followers for you.
Yes.
It's very much about vanity, right?
That's true.
So you say like you use this LinkedIn headline, then I say like I'm a top voice with 200,000 followers, and people will be like, oh wow, 200,000. But if you open the analytics, if you open the split by region, you can do that, by the way. And LinkedIn has this metric, so you can actually follow who you are getting, and by the job title, I think, by job function, and by the region. It doesn't work. So Western Europe, super expensive. Some countries, I think, mostly in Asia. Some countries in Asia will be less expensive. Dubai is very expensive.
Okay.
I assume that North America will be quite expensive, obviously.
Sure. In Dubai, it will be also like for about 20 euros, per follower.
It depends, but we can initially, while people don't know you, it might be quite expensive.
Okay.
Eventually, when the people are more familiar with you, let's say after running your thought leadership ads, thought leadership campaign, for some time, serving the target audience with nice content, good actually high quality content, eventually cost per follower will fall.
I would like to stress here that our clients, who come to social media, they come in and ask us only for lead generation. And this is it's really very difficult to persuade them, look, we should promote other types of content too. Because when you promote other types of content, actually people get to know you during the time, especially from month to month. If you invest money into promoting other types of content, leadership content, how you work, some backstage, some whatever, in the end, the cost of lead, it will fall times. So
Absolutely.
This is very important. Everything, it's not done everything is done on purpose. So you should do different types of content. You should promote different types of content in order. So actually, this is the gist of the strategy. Yes.
Absolutely.
So it's about making leads lower, lower, and lower. This is the main thing why we need these strategies.
Absolutely.
So that in the end, this is your advantage in the market in 1 year. So you will get more leads for low cost of these leads. And you are
I like
the king of the market.
The king of the market.
Or the queen.
The queen. I like saying that it's not a sprint, right? It's a marathon.
Yes, sure.
So you don't aim for short-term results. You go for a long ride, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
Your results, leads, if we talk about leads, it's always about money, it's always about leads.
Yes, sure.
It comes. With LinkedIn, there are a lot of other nice tricks. There is open to button at the moment. Yes. I'm not sure if it's available in all the regions, but it's for sure available here. So you can always add additional links. You can specify your expertise. There is this, I think it's called featured posts. So you can always bring your top performing content up for your new followers to see, right?
Yes, sure.
You can always say what...
You can always tag someone, correct?
You can tag someone. You can you can identify actually what type of causes you are interested in, something to volunteer, human rights, whatever. So people who will resonate with you, with your personality, and all those tricks show who you are, right?
Yes, sure.
They will eventually. So this is a very nice mix. It's actually quite effective mix.
Okay, very nice. Actually, what are let's say top industries that LinkedIn is good for? Actually,
obviously, staffing industry, right? Okay. Recruiting. Let's not forget that initially LinkedIn positions themselves as a social media for job search.
Yes.
Right. So obviously they are. all things IT, yes, software as a service. When it comes to software as a service in general, when it comes to any service, those untangible, yes, I think you call them untangible.
Tangible, okay.
There's like tangible and untangible. Untangible, something that you cannot touch. That's a service. LinkedIn works best because people don't need to touch something like, for example, hardware. You can always go and see hardware. So LinkedIn works really very well for financial services, consulting services, software as a service, as that. Fintech, yes. Fintech is now in general on top. Everything AI. So whatever is trending now.
Like intellectual types of job.
Yeah?
So.
You can say so. Yes, I think it's a very nice way to put it.
Okay, actually, talking about different types of content on LinkedIn, I personally see a lot of content about like memes, cats, and whatever. So, don't you think that LinkedIn a little bit, I don't know, so goes away from its own DNA? And what would you think about this? What do you think about this content that comes from other social platforms, actually?
Yes, I think LinkedIn recently has been influenced a lot by Instagram and others. Initially, when LinkedIn was launched, it was social media, yes, a network for people to do business, actually. Yeah. Eventually, when it was expanding, when it started expanding, people brought a lot of their personal stuff. I saw that especially during the last 2 years when there were a lot of layoffs in IT sector. So somebody gets laid off, I feel for them, and the post comes, this, that, you know. Then during pandemic, people started posting a lot about how they felt, about the depression and stuff, and that was fine because this brought this personality out, right?
Yes.
But in the end, I feel that it became too much, and I see lots of complaints, lot of like post/complain, people saying, "Come on, LinkedIn is not Instagram," and I tend to agree here that LinkedIn is not Instagram. Your social media strategy should involve both channels. Probably even the message should be the same, but formats should be different,
yes,
right?
Sure.
You cannot bring the same word in the same feelings to both. And I've read Trends for 2026, and that's why LinkedIn is now going to do a better, more careful assessment of your posts. I think partially this is a result of all those changes.
Okay.
So, I personally love my dog. I would love to make lots of posts with my dogs. Whenever I see a post with a cat or meme, I'm like, oh, cat, like. But those are not valid likes, right?
Yes.
Those
entertaining likes.
Those are entertaining. Those type of posts actually get those emotional sort of likes, yes, immediately. But it has no sense. So this year, LinkedIn actually will introduce more censorship, if you'd like to say to that.
Actually, it's a nice thing.
It's a nice one. So LinkedIn, once you start posting, LinkedIn algorithm will go through your posts, do analysis, identify your posts for, evaluate your posts for quality, for the content, for the message, for the consistency. So those times, I think that those times are gone when you could just post a cat and get likes.
Okay, thank you so much. I have such a question. So, if imagine that LinkedIn is a human being, how would you describe it?
Oh, well, not to sound racist here. So I would say that to me, LinkedIn is a man, middle-aged, 40, 45, top management, male, in a suit.
Okay.
In a suit, but having some sort of funky haircut, wearing white sneakers, and a cool backpack.
Actually, a bit casual, yeah, type of clothes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'd say this is a man who, you know, who has been on one side, like being super cool, you know, super professional, cold, but now trying to reach other people, you know, younger audience.
Okay.
I would probably somehow link it to middle age crisis. You know, like when people start like wearing some like bright colors, and
Yes.
I think this is where it is now.
Okay.
In the beginning, you know, if we started, if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would definitely say that it's a middle-aged man in a suit, a bit of grey hair, super serious.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Like a man from Forbes or something like
A man
this.
from Forbes, yeah, but that ship has sailed. No more Forbes man.
Okay. Thank you so much for your interview.
I hope it was really
yes,
useful.
it was really interesting, I really hope that we managed to show to our audience, yes, this step-by-step like strategy, how to start, what type of content to use, how to promote yourself, what budgets to orient yourself to. Yes, actually, yes, it's really like an expensive, yes, social media. So you should be ready for.
It is.
For this,
it is.
Yes.
You cannot avoid it. I know people who say like, oh my God, I hate social media. You may hate it, but you cannot avoid it.
Yes, sure.
That's an effort.
It's like
That's an
prolongation of your business. It's like
That's-
prolongation of your expertise.
Yes. If you want to stay there, you should be on LinkedIn.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yes, and I think that we'll meet once again because LinkedIn is changing. So
Let's see.
let's meet
see. Or maybe
in
you
some
will,
time.
let's see. Maybe you will get some questions from the audience.
Yes.
So we will gladly answer.
Yes, very nice idea. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad that you were with us all this time. And please write in the comments if it was really interesting for you, was it helpful, and maybe you have some questions. I will take these questions and address to Kate actually, and we'll answer these questions in the comments. So thank you so much and have a great day.